There we are. Now we're live.
I love you solo.
I know.
This here is Rock Vodka. You know what I'm saying? Can I get a Jaya?
What are we doing?
I'm playing another commercial.
This here is Rock Vodka. You know what I'm saying? Can I get a Jaya? Yeah. Comes in 4 delicious flavors. You know what I'm saying? Blueberry, Banorch, pomegranate, and apple cinnamon, y'all. Delicious and tight as piss. You know what I'm saying? Can I get a rah? Pomegranate and apple cinnamon.
One more.
I bet, don't mess with me, man. My head's as hard as a frying pan.
Collect them all and let them dream.
I still play with toys, so what you gonna do? The magic thing is not told. Left coast is the best coast. 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 I like Sasquatch. I like Mr. T. I like Star Wars. Now give me some candy. Left coast is the best coast. Left coast is the best coast.
So I have
Left coast is the best coast. I like Sasquatch. I like Mr. T. I like Star Wars. Now give me some candy. Left coast is the best coast. 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 Left coast. Left coast. Left coast.
Piz orange.
I like the blueberry.
Get us
I
word.
didn't realize that was like 2 minutes long, but
Longest
I like
intro ever.
I like that
We
Rick used
intro
to
you
clip-
long time.
I like that Rick used a clip where I was falling asleep during the episode.
that one time.
Just the one time.
So yeah, that'll be a placeholder until I get a cool Andor intro. And
All right.
did the three of you guys? Did you catch that little mini documentary
Yes.
they made for
Yeah.
the first 2 episodes? How dope is that? Like, I thought, like, oh, what am I gonna watch now? I go on YouTube. It was uploaded, I think, the minute the episodes came out. So like, people could have watched that and totally spoiled the episodes. But I thought that was cool. They
Yeah.
have not done that for any of the Disney Plus shows at all. Star Wars, I know Marvel, they called it Assembled, or they had some things going on in conjunction with movies and I don't think that, and some TV shows too. But yeah, that was cool, and that I was very excited, surprised to see that, and it kind of put me over the top last night. Like, after watching an hour and a half or so of some new live Star Wars content that turned out to be pretty fast paced by the end. Looked expensive, but like, again, that's why I think I enjoy this show for partly. And then just to see that little documentary afterwards where they're showing a couple of scenes of dialogue we just saw 10 minutes ago or an hour ago, and they're saying, well, no, I want to turn the camera like this so we see your face, and I'm just like, that is so cool because it's so fresh in our minds. And I don't know, what do you guys think of that?
No, it was good. Yeah.
2 thumbs way up.
2 thumbs way up. Do you
Everything.
think we're gonna see that 3 more times?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I always like to see behind the scenes things and stuff, and it's cool that they're kind of doing it right away, like you said. Yeah.
The behind the scenes stuff and the making of and bloopers, back in the 80s on the VHS tapes and all that stuff. But that was my jam, man. Like, that was some of the best. Some movies really sucked, but then you got to see them, do little shit and fart jokes and
And they've definitely had enough time to get stuff like this made, because I mean the shows, I think they filmed it like going on 2 years
took
ago.
a few years due to the pandemic, right? But yeah, I was definitely impressed with that. I'm watching this in StreamYard and there's no chat here, so what am I? Hold on.
There's Q.
There we
Q is in the chat.
Ricardo.
Ricardo!
Sorry, I'm relearning the StreamYard. It's the new Canadian version.
John's here. I can't get mine to work.
You need like a 2026 Apple phone. I think that's what it is, like, or last year's model at least.
I got an iPhone 16.
Mine's not doing
You
anything.
made it
Yeah,
rain.
I'm on the computer, so I don't get the special effects. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
All right,
But
Lack exclusive.
one thing I do have to say though is I was watching it with my mom and everybody here at the house, and they were like, when we got done with the first episode, they were like, I thought this was like what are they doing? Why are they doing a recap? I just watched it. Why I don't need a recap.
I didn't.
And it's like, so we went to the next episode, and then the credits rolled again, and we went to a recap again. And they're like, "What the crap? I saw it. I just watched it. Just show me." They were really frustrated by the fact that they still kept it at 3 episodes, and I was like, "Thank you. I'm not the only one that
No,
thinks that when
that's
they do
probably the
stuff like
one.
this, especially because this was one story 4 years before BBY. Next week is going to be a different story. That's 3 years.
Yeah, that's
right.
And
then
John, you said this weeks ago too, that
Yeah.
when you speed rush a show or you power watch, and you get all the little things in the middle that you can't always skip exactly, and pushing that skip button takes like 2 seconds of your life, right? So you got to actually, here I go, I got to exercise. So but I mean, I know what you mean. There should be a button you can click. Boom. Skip intro.
Should be there should be an option for
you get the fade
seamless
to black,
play.
and then you get the opening scene.
That's a good idea, John.
It should be an option for like seamless play, and it will just play the content with skipping all the intros and the credits at the end.
Yeah,
and the credits can roll at the very end when you're done, and the intro can run the very next one.
No, and I agree. And if there's one thing about this show so far that I don't like, it's that, John.
Yeah.
Just the fact that I had to watch that little colorful droid thing again and skip the recap, and then there's a little bit of audio, and then it starts with the logo again, and I'm like, oh.
I thought it was interesting
that going again. Like,
I thought it was interesting that wasn't the stranger with his hood up was in the Star Wars thing.
Oh, was he? I noticed that is the red droid, right?
Considering they're trying to delete Acolyte from all of our brains, it's funny that they put an Acolyte character in the Star Wars.
That helmet must have sold enough.
Yeah, maybe
until season 2 comes out, and then they show you those cuts, like those intros.
Did you see any of the Star Wars Celebration highlights or any of the streaming they were doing live over the 3 days?
The streams in the chat, everybody wanted Acolyte too.
And so when Manny came out on the stage, like that big live center stage thing, and they're like, here, put on this Black Series helmet and stuff.
Yeah.
And you can tell how much like being in Star Wars meant to him as a young Canadian kid, right? He's only got a few things on his resume so far because he's so young, but I mean, he was touched, and he also, you can tell he felt like crap because he knows it's not going anywhere. Like, for a new movie,
as far as we know,
you can kind of tell, like, but the way he kind of
they're going to surprise us with an Acolyte too.
But I think they announced 3 books that are going to explain some of the stories. But I don't know if any of them directly will be, on the stranger or who his master might be.
Well, I heard a good theory. I heard a good theory about this. They won't do Acolyte season 2 because they're not going to name it Acolyte anymore. They won't.
No,
they'll give it a new name.
Yeah. So what they're going to do is they'll do
Green Yoda.
They'll do a story that's more focused on the stranger guy and call it. The show will be called The Apprentice.
How about
he'll go, you're fired.
And then later on down the road,
You're fired.
They'll do a show on Plagueis, and they'll call it The Master. So it'll be The Acolyte, The Apprentice, The Master. That'll be the 3. And I thought that was a good theory. I thought that was a good way to do it.
Really good show. A bigly results. Wonderful show.
I would be totally okay.
The Apprentice. I have the copyright. The Apprentice.
I am the master. You are the apprentice.
They called.
All right.
You got rid of them.
I just wanted to change the order there for no reason.
Yep.
Put me at the bottom. There,
Yeah,
You're
it's
now
Japan.
on the
Japan would have
bottom.
been like a trip of a lifetime. I would always wanted to.
Terrible
to
idea.
travel, and
Put him on the bottom. Terrible.
so hopefully the people that did go had a good time.
Hey,
I
if
heard
they
some
did
crazy
an
stories about
acolyte,
lineups and crap.
or if they did an acolyte too, and it was like, Master and the Apprentice, Plagueis and the Stranger,
that'd be
like,
cool.
I may watch that.
Keep the
I
6
may
foot tall
watch
But I'm
green.
just saying they won't call it acolyte because
No.
that's been tainted.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
so what I can't remember who it might have been Eric. I can't remember who said it, but someone said they'll continue the Stranger's story, but it'll be in a different show, and they might call it something like The Apprentice, and then it'll be about the Stranger, and then down the road they could do a show called The Master, and that would be about Plagueis, and
the
so
acolyte ship has definitely sailed. They will
You
not
know?
be using
They-
that.
Yeah, hopefully they don't call it The Apprentice.
You can't. I own the rights. You can't use it.
That's right.
Can't use it. It is
yeah.
So
You need to
we
you need
talked
to
a little
work
bit about before we started. So before Yavin, 4 years before Yavin is when
Mhm.
these 3 episodes
Yeah.
take place. So 1
Yep.
year, not a year doesn't pass throughout these 3 episodes, but I mean, when episode 4 starts, a year would have passed because it looks like this is just a few hours or like an overnight and then just through it the next day. So
Mhm.
48 hours or so maybe takes place in his 3 episodes here.
Yeah.
Another good film.
I think
I think
It was
they-
like
I think they said that because didn't she in the first episode say we've got 2 more days of wedding stuff before they get
Yeah.
married?
yeah.
And then the last episode they get married. So you figured from the first episode to the last, it's 2 days. So it's about 48 or 72 hours, something like that,
Yeah.
Now,
What was
does-
the
The
what was
kids
the
were definitely
first thing-
older than last season.
What was the first thing you said on this opening scene? What was the first thing you turned to your wife or whoever and said in this scene?
TIE
Actually-
Fighter, the video game, and I'm looking at the TIE Avenger.
The Avenger, but I kept saying Interceptor, but I meant to say Avenger. Yeah.
Yeah.
I thought it was the Slicer, but you know what my first words were? I said, "Look at the
Give me
ass."
a beer.
No, I said, "Look at the ass on that girl."
Oh,
That's the first thing I said to my wife. I said, "Look
see,
at that."
no, and I was wondering, I was looking off to the left, going, "Is that the Kenner like little mini rig with the hoses plugged
The
into it?"
Energizer, yeah. Is
Yeah.
that
Good eye.
what is the Slicer? Isn't there a Thai Slicer or something?
It sounds.
I
that
think
sounds
they use
about
that
right.
for pizza, right? Slice
But
No,
is
I
this
thought
anyone-
there was a. I thought. I mean, they do. But I thought.
Is
that's what I
anybody's
thought.
new favorite like TIE Fighter?
I just
I've
liked
always
it.
liked the
I just
TIE
liked that
Avenger.
it was there.
It was great in the game, and I liked that they used a little bit of the game heads up, a
Yeah.
modern version of the game heads up display. I
And
thought was cool.
that prop is held under its own weight on the wings too.
I see that, yeah.
Full
yeah.
size prop.
Freaking made this, and
Yeah, I
that's
was
what
reading
I
about it.
learned in that little documentary afterwards. Where they showed them like walking underneath it, and I'm like, they built the freaking shit, and they had it in
Yeah.
2 locations. Like
Yeah.
Yeah,
that's the Star Wars I want to see. Like
Right.
yeah.
Right.
even if there's cardboard X-wings in the background, I don't care. That's how they used to do it back in the day. But yeah, just the cinematography in this is still by far some of the best in any era of Star Wars.
Absolutely.
I was
first
kinda
saw this
laughing.
girl here, it reminded me of that Nilda girl.
Yeah.
She does all the cosplay pics now. So
Oh
And-
yeah.
here's a new
Yeah,
cosplay character.
I was
for her.
laughing. I was kind of laughing internally at this scene because I was like, Joey Padawan Collector just put up a thing saying I've been seeing in videos that people displays and they have their TIE fighters sitting on the wings, and really that stresses over time. If you leave it there for 20 years, it'll
Yeah.
stress the wings out. And he's like, there's enough stands out there you can buy. And he was showing off some of the stands, saying, please put them on stands. It makes me cringe whenever I think about your
Yeah,
TIE
yeah.
fighters warping over time. And then
What
they
about
did
if
it in
they're
the,
just
they
in a
did it in
big
the movie.
Rubbermaid?
They put it on the wings.
What if they're just in a big
So-
Rubbermaid tote with a bunch of other toys?
Yeah.
That's even
That's how
worse.
toys are stored.
You can always hang them from the ceiling with fishing line. That's
There you
probably
go. That too. Yeah.
I love like perfect center and left matching right. Like I don't know. As I do graphic design and stuff, I look for blank spaces and empty areas, and just fantastic, man. Like I tried to catch some of my favorite shots. So we got a new location, a new snowy location.
This isn't a new location though.
Well, it's new for live action. It's
yeah. Because I loved this. I thought, oh my gosh, they're actually doing where the TIE fighter was seriously made.
Yeah, so yeah,
That's been the lore forever. That's
And from what I saw on another review of this, heavy spoilers or whatever, one of those guys, that they're like, okay, here's a little city over here where all the workers kind of live, right?
Gotcha.
That looks like the North Slope where I worked. It's a lot like that.
No doubt, eh?
Yeah. That's the first thing I thought. I went, wow, it's like Camp 7 or whatever. Like, looks just like that.
And then we got, some more of that, the neo, that retro modern. I love this stuff, man. I'm so looking forward to Fantastic Four. I think it's going to make, blow me away, because it's going to be all this stuff, like all retro modern, what we thought sci-fi would look like in this 60s kind of idea.
Mm-hmm.
But a good look, another good shot. And we find out this lady is, she's kind of gonna do help the spy guy out, and she's saying how she likes his job and she likes the people, and I kind of gathered he was, what's the guy's name who wrote the book, Melshi, or that guy passed away?
Melshi was his friend. The other guy wrote the book. Yeah.
Oh,
the guy wrote the book.
Nimmick.
He was not reading, but saying things that were similar to what that guy was writing in that book there.
I believe his name was Nimmick, was it not?
Nimmick, yep, that's it.
There you go.
Which guy's Melshi?
Melshi is his friend that ends up in Rogue One.
He was in prison with, who we saw in Rogue One.
Yeah, he ends up
we
in
haven't
Rogue
seen
One.
him yet, right?
No, not yet.
Not in the new one. He'll be a couple weeks down the road, I think.
Hopefully we see him.
Yeah, we will.
So
who else I think we're gonna see is that Clancy
that bounty hunter he played?
No, that he's gonna be he's actually gonna play Ryder. Because in Rebels he voiced Ryder.
Oh, I know who you mean now.
And because he's been, the guy's been, since, he was in The Highlander, right? Wasn't he like the bad guy in The Highlander, the first movie? And he's been in X-Files. He's been in all the Star Trek stuff. He's been in multiple Star Wars. But he hasn't been live action in Star Wars yet. So I think
I in the first Andor, I for a long time thought that the guy ringing the bell was him with the hammers. Okay. Whoever that guy was looks just like that same guy.
That guy's pretty cool though, right? That hammer guy?
Yeah. But he looks like the Shawshank Redemption, writer. I can't remember his name, but
I wonder if he lives, hammer guy.
Hammer guy.
He's kind of like, oh, he's cute, But yeah, she likes it there, right? She's like, she's risking her life and her whatever security she might have.
Oh, you missed the quick shot of the range troopers.
I did.
Did anybody? I still
we'll see them again.
I feel like maybe I think about shit like it's too. I don't know. I like to think of it as like in a reasonable time or whatever. But like, what is the purpose of the range trooper? Like, does he only wear magnetic boots and hangs out on trains? Is he
these ones in Andor don't have the magnetic boots.
So what is the purpose? Why is it not just a snow trooper?
Because they're pimp styling. And their transition, they're like in between becoming snow troopers, I think, too.
It's one thing that makes it tough to write for Star Wars sometimes, because if a writer comes in to write something, there's so many parts of the stories and films that are one of one, like the TIE fighter, for example. It's really cool because it made sense for once. It was a test pilot for a test craft. It was the one of one, the only one. So you knew that a few minutes in, you're like, oh, that makes sense. It's a test facility. He's going to sneak in there. He's going to steal this thing and get some technology and go back, and
you know what he's doing here. I think it's the laser underneath. We saw that.
Very well. Yeah.
Because here's
crystal laser.
Yeah. Rick's got it. My theory is that in that laser is a kyber crystal, and it's the first
So it all
it's
makes
the
sense.
Empire's first attempt at a kyber crystal weapon.
And well, that's also what Lax guy has in his ship, I believe.
And the technology
That would make sense going forward in the story, yeah.
Yeah, because that
So they're mining
technology
kyber.
is going to be expanded upon and built into a
Into
larger
Rogue
scale
One, yeah.
to form the Death Star's laser weapon.
Yeah.
you know?
But what's weird is like we know that technology, like the kyber crystal laser, whatever is on this TIE fighter, we don't ever see it again. So it gets destroyed. Like
Yeah.
the rebels don't get to use it, and the Empire don't get to use it. So
Well, the Empire uses it in the Death Star.
just in a Death Star, but it never gets used like we're seeing it here, right?
Yeah, yeah.
And it's pretty cool that he goes in. He's like, "What the hell is this? Like, there's no chair.
And he keeps
the First
going out.
Order would have
It's
had a
all
bunch
computer."
The First
Right?
Order
Can
would
you
have had a
say
bunch
it's
of
all
time
computer in your voice?
blowing that door down.
It has a hard cooldown period after each use.
See,
it's not.
I wonder if
kind of like Brett.
The thing with this is he says later on, he says something like, "This isn't the ship you trained me to fly."
Yeah, exactly.
He stole the wrong ship, basically.
Well,
but I wonder if their intelligence was wrong. Like they thought that the TIE Defender was being worked on at this facility, when it's really the TIE Defender's on Lothal, and the Avenger was here. So he probably trained in trying to steal the Defender, but he's actually stealing a different ship, you know?
I think Luthen knew, and he and he's tricked them. I think it's going to come down to there's going to be some trickery to get some to get what they want. Like and Luthen is one of those guys, I believe. Like he's a good character, but I think he's going to be doing some betraying because we know Andor is not going to be doing any betraying. Do you know what I mean? He's going to help.
I don't know.
Blow up the Death Star kind of thing.
You can already we're not there yet, but you can definitely already see Val and Mon are pretty PO'd with Luthen, and they're going to be ended up.
They don't know why he's
the
there.
rebellion, and they're going to get Cassian or somebody to turn on Luthen, though he's the only winner in the whole group. You know.
But another cool shot, and I don't play the video games, but I know this is how I would play them, because I've never flown any of these ships before, I'd smash them into every wall until I figured it out. And then he takes every last one of them out.
It was cool.
Definitely a much stronger ship than a regular TIE, isn't it? I don't think a regular TIE fighter would have handled all that.
And then, they got that super, super duper green laser that just basically disintegrated that shore trooper guy. I thought I had a shot at him. He'll probably show up in episode 3 slides.
Right.
But yeah, so the bad guys shoot green lasers and the good guys shoot red lasers.
But that's because the bad guys started out as good guys.
Basically.
In the prequels,
a weird Star Wars thing.
In the prequels, the Republic shot green lasers, you know?
Again, just everything
They were always the bad guy.
I thought I had a couple good shots. This little canyon chase, which was kind of like a little bit like Death Star Trench, a little bit like those speeder races in episode 1.
Racing action.
What I really liked about that scene was I loved the idea that they had 2 TIE Inquisitors behind them.
Yeah, they were the rounded wings, right?
They were the Inquisitor TIE fighters from the animated series, you know?
That's pretty cool.
Live action.
The sounds were perfect. That's how I want TIE fighters to sound. Because we just heard that one kind of roar by in Andor season 1, and now we hear this super duper one. And he shoots the cliff that falls and crushes.
I just hope they make a toy so I can add it to my TIE fighter collection.
Oh, guaranteed it's coming.
Definitely. Hopefully,
I also would like to have this space trailer park.
Absolutely.
Yeah. 3 3/4 scale. This is pretty rad.
Well, and I
think you can buy that off Amazon right now.
Did you notice
give it 48 hours and that
land speeder
will be 3D printing it.
Do you notice this house had landing gear? So I think it literally does what you're saying. I think it folds up. Those things sticking out can kind of fold in, and the whole thing can lift off the ground and go somewhere else.
It's a maintenance shack.
What did what do
It was
RV
for the maintenance stuff.
what do RV drivers call those little pullouts? Those little pullouts,
Yeah,
pushouts.
yeah, pullouts, whatever you call them. Yeah,
Yeah, it's awesome though.
yeah, they were basically that.
That was their cover. They were the maintenance crew following the
Yeah.
farmers' equipment around.
Do you think it's just like a
robot
repulsor
cat
kind of a thing, or you think it flies like a ship? Or you think
It
it's
probably
I actually wonder
repulsor.
if it has lifts on it and it can just basically hover like over to the next place where they
I
gotta
thought
go.
maybe
like they do the big cargo boxes, like
Yeah.
the
Yeah,
repulsor.
like it
like,
wouldn't
kinda
get
like
very
a ship.
high, but it could float.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think they would just drop it out of a cargo ship, right? Like,
Yeah.
yeah, or that they have a ship come pick it up and
but again,
fly it over
this
somewhere.
is we're still real early in this episode. They go in and the camera just pans left to right. So there's lots of this, one shot going on for like 30 seconds. And I just love the cinema making. And of course, it's a dream. We don't know it right away, but this is due to tortured her in season 1.
Mhm.
I don't understand why Bix has to take so much shit.
Yeah,
Her
Poor
character is just 2 seasons now.
It's such a lovely character. Such a beautiful character.
Because it's real.
She doesn't deserve it.
Well, a lot of nice people don't deserve the shit that they're getting.
But it's like just her.
Yeah.
It's like she doesn't.
Well, I mean, this poor guy on the screen now.
She's not the one on the screen
He's
that's going
definitely
to die.
got it worse in the long run.
He's got it worse now.
In
Now
the
that
long
we've
run,
seen
yeah.
it.
Chandrila. So I'm going to have lots of comments on everything that goes on here, but I thought it was beautiful. I'll say that first.
Definitely.
Just stunning. Like this only lasts a couple of seconds, but you see all these rocks, and then boom, there's a little freaking city right there, or villa, or chalet, or whatever
it's
it is.
her house. It's the Mon Mothma
Mon
estate.
Mothma
It's her
estate.
house.
Okay. Yeah, I don't like to
Yeah.
read all my Star Wars. I didn't read that far, John.
Yeah, that's her house.
But it
She's
looks
freaking
awesome.
rich as
You know what else is cool about the storytelling here is how they already knew they were going to go multiple seasons. Tony Gilroy said the original plan was to go 5 seasons, but he didn't think it would be fair to Diego Luna because he would age naturally, and he didn't want to have to do de-aging and stuff. So he was kind
fair
of
to every other filmmaker who wants.
So
to
he
make Star
said he
Wars
got
content.
desperate and said, "Let's just do it in 2 because it'll just take too long. It'll take us 10 years,
I'm so glad they did, even though we're only like a quarter of the way through this second part.
Yeah, but the point I wanted to make between season 1 and season 2 that I noticed already off the bat was, remember in the first few episodes of season 1, we all said, "Man, it doesn't really look Star Wars, right?" But it was like the story of Star Wars, and I grew into it, right? And then now the very first scene with the TIE fighter, you're like, holy shit, it's as Star Wars as it can get. So it like really grew arced into it, and I like that. They didn't just throw it at us, If you look
and he
at
didn't
it,
shy away. He actually didn't shy away from aliens this time.
we didn't see TIE fighters until the heist in the
Yeah.
last season.
I did think there could have been more alien. It is quite a few minutes before we finally see that first one.
Yeah, I think I got a screenshot of both the aliens that were in this episode.
At the wedding.
Yeah,
there's aliens.
There's like
there's
Beauty and
aliens
the
at the
Beast.
wedding, and then there's aliens at the farm where they're cooking the
There's
food.
like Beauty and the Beast at the wedding.
Yeah.
Yeah, kind of. Yeah, like a yak.
Did you see the guy dancing with the weird head and the goggles?
Yeah.
That was
so. Yeah, very. To me, like throughout this whole wedding and all the parties before and after and outside and inside, just very elvish. Like the only thing missing is pointy ears, but I get it. Like it's this kind of it's the way that these people are. Like they're very elegant, rich, freaking
It's their
people.
traditional.
Very much so, and their traditions go back really far, as we kind of see with the dancing and the walking over the sticks and all this kind of stuff. But
what was really interesting about this place is my mom and I were talking about it because in a lot of the scenes, the rock walls. Now that back wall behind Mon Mothma and the arch is added in, but the wall to the left of the very left side of the screen is looks like it could be something in Peru or Chile or down there. You know what I mean? Like, and very Aztec or Mayan, whatever, you know what I mean? Like, and when they were walking up, that path, it's like the path to Machu Picchu or whatever, you know what I mean? Like,
yeah, I don't think it's actually there because you're not allowed to go to certain places. But
no, but what I'm saying
definitely
is
on a location.
they could have filmed on location at one of those places, and then they digitally add the arches and what's behind Mon Mothma like afterwards.
Oh, well,
you know what I mean?
What I like about this show is there's not a lot of shit digitally added. Like they built those arches and those rock walls, and they might be made of styrofoam and gyprock and stuff, but I mean, a lot of that is real, and that's when it's not stagecraft. A lot of it is real.
Some of it could be a real world place too.
And they did, but they built it, at a real world place. Like Tatooine, they built it in the actual desert. Like they actually built it in a desert. So it's, of course, like we saw lots of greenery in season 1, and now we're already seeing a snow planet. We're seeing this planet. We're going to see like a grassy, woodsy planet. We're getting all these great locations just in the first day of Andor.
You know what they say? Location, location, location.
But yeah, it's very stunning to look at. Like I think the only thing that might be CGI here is whatever's at like the top half of those stairs, because there's really people walking up those stairs, so those stairs are real.
True, yeah.
But the whatever's behind it, that could be a big green screen, and they do that afterwards. But
so maybe they took inspiration.
They built that.
Yeah, maybe they took inspiration from that kind of stuff, and then they built a set that was modeled after it.
There's definitely.
I'm wondering, do you think they spent more money on set design?
Yeah.
Or these freaking costumes? There must be 1,000 people.
There's very little of anything that we've seen that comes off as fake looking.
Exactly. There must be 1,000 people wearing these beautiful garments that people had to make.
This was once again cinema quality.
Good shit.
Just like the first season, man. The cinematography, each one of those.
I always think of that in the Acolyte, when they showed the witch's lair.
It looked like a model.
It was just like so terribly CGI'd, you could almost like see it kind of like glitch.
Well, their Coruscant looked terrible.
So bad, and like this is
their Coruscant looked terrible.
So
the Acolyte's version of Coruscant looked terrible.
Oh yeah, there was all kinds of awful.
To quote Charles Barkley, it looked terrible.
Terrible.
So
You're
this
fired.
guy,
Whoever did the CGI.
I don't have his name memorized yet, but
Ty. It's Ty.
Ty. So this is like her ex-boyfriend.
No, it's her friend from childhood.
Yeah, well, they were.
Yeah,
they were
but he
lovers,
was trying to become more.
as we kind of learned.
No, he's not.
Yeah.
The reason he's upset here is because he's been funneling the money through his businesses and organization. That's Mon Mothma's money.
Yes.
So Mon Mothma's funding the rebellion,
Yes.
but she's not funding it in an open way. She's funneling her money through this guy who's been her lifelong friend. And they set that up in the first season. And now his businesses and his family life are suffering because of his lies and
because of the rebellion
that he's keeping for her. And his wife left him because of the lies and secrets that he's keeping for him on Mothma.
Now
so there is no relationship physically between them. It's just that
I'm saying
he wants some dividends paid.
I did watch 2 review shows, and they disclosed that it was from like the animated shows, which I don't have them all memorized.
Well, they explain it pretty plainly by the 3rd episode. He straight up says everything John just said.
But I was
the actions of the rebellion have ruined my
friends.
business.
I just use the old term like lovers.
He said,
because her asshole the husband kind of calls him that later in the episode.
Right. Everyone, we're assuming probably his wife and definitely her old man. They all think that they're an affair or whatever.
Yeah, but it's not really something that's going on.
No, it seems like maybe.
But that's what I'm saying. That's why I'm saying like this wedding, this whole and this starts the setup for this. You're not watching a wedding. On the surface, you're watching a wedding, but you're not supposed to be like. That's not the point of these scenes.
No.
These scenes are setting up
part of it.
these scenes are setting up the players. It's like they're setting up a chessboard,
Right.
and the pieces and the players are being all set in motion.
Definitely.
And it happens. All the players end up at this, including Luthen there, whatever, and the Ty. And what ends up happening is
Luthen, the greatest character.
Yeah.
He was good in this episode.
You know, and the
creepy, but
husband,
good.
and you've got the gangster crime lord guy who wants to be part of the upper society. So that's why he's doing this arranged marriage between his kid and Mon Mothma's kid. And then you've got the girls there, you know, the assassin who's driving later on, and you've got the one who's working for him, you know, who's her girlfriend, and which is Mon Mothma's cousin, I think, or something.
Yeah.
And then, you know what I mean? It's like all the players end up at this wedding, and it's kind of
wedding.
The wedding seemed like a cover for all them to get together and have sort of an impromptu meeting.
It wasn't necessarily a cover. It was just.
Yeah, I think it was accidental because Luthen does a line where he says, "If I wouldn't have been here, would you have told me?"
Right.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like a lucky strike, right? Because
but it gets deeper as it goes across the three.
It does.
Well,
yeah.
That's for sure. Yeah.
This arc of the wedding, it shows by the end of it, right? Like Mon Mothma is, you know, not really involved, and even in the first season, like she doesn't really understand what
involvement
is.
Right?
But by the end of this, where Luthen, you know, when he says, you know, whatever he says, you know, well, this will have to be dealt with, and she says, "I don't know what you mean," and he says, "Oh, well, how nice for you," you know, like
she knows.
That's when it gets real, right? And that's like her doing the dancing.
They all come together in the first. The stakes are laid out in the second, and in the third, you know, I don't want to get too far ahead of the conversation, but by the third, for her anyway, it seems things have fallen apart.
Yeah, exactly.
They're really on the verge of falling apart. It's a great arc for her in those three.
Well,
episodes.
and this also ties into what we know later on. Like, I mean, we are getting a little bit ahead of ourselves, but I think it's okay because we see those two groups. Well, we see one group of rebels with Andor fall apart, and right now, which is to Saw's point, Saw Gerrera's point was Mon Mothma's rebellion is falling apart. You're not holding it together.
Yeah,
and that's what Luthen is seeing here. And Luthen's basically saying to her by the end, he didn't say it out loud in the exact words, but the thing is, if you're going to war, this is the cost of war.
Right.
Yeah.
But the reason she goes up and grabs 4 drinks and downs them and then starts dancing is because this is her last moment as an innocent person in this war. And she's like, it's all over after this.
The arc is not so much falling apart, but I think this short arc is just like what you're saying. It just became real, right? Because
it became real.
We're about to leave the gun.
I think seeing Luthen
of her friend, and she realizes, you know, like this.
Because if they don't, because basically her friend Ty was like, if we don't fix this and make things right, I'm going to set it right by coming clean. And Luthen's like, we can't have that. He's a risk now. That means we got to kill him.
Yeah,
right.
Luthen's watched,
and I think she was just saying "fuck it all" and started drinking.
Yeah, well, because she knew he was going to get killed.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And that was like that. The end of the what was the gangster family where it went to black at the Journey song?
Godfather.
Sopranos.
Yeah.
That was like that for her at the end.
Yeah. But the thing is, this also could foreshadow why down the road she ends up having a problem and a falling out with Saw Gerrera, and I think that we're going to see a falling out with Luthen as well, because I think Luthen is more on the Saw Gerrera side, where we will do anything and everything.
Yes,
everybody, every single person, including myself, is expendable for the cause. The cause is what's the most important. And Saw Gerrera saw that, and I think Luthen sees that. And at some point, I think Mon Mothma is going to be like, no, if we're fighting for this rebellion, we're fighting for the people, and the people matter who are in it. We can't just go around offing our own people and being that ruthless. The Empire is that ruthless. We have to make a stand and be different. And she's going to think back. She's going to think back on this situation that we just saw, and say, I crossed the line once and allowed you to do that to my friend Ty. I'm not crossing the line again. And that's why Saw Gerrera takes his group in a separate way, like we saw in Rogue One.
Let me ask you this, John. By the end, so they're gonna give us a lot of stuff here in the next 3 weeks.
Yeah.
Are we gonna see how the X-wings got involved?
Well, Saw Gerrera has them already.
Are we gonna see the Armada? Are we gonna see the Rebel base?
I think so. I think we're gonna.
Well, like you saw,
the way that you
saw it, the way that you saw it in Rogue One, you'll probably see it in the last 3 weeks from now.
Yeah.
That's what I was thinking too.
Was there not some sort of leak about maybe seeing Akbar by the time this is over?
Yeah, there's Radis and Akbar apparently.
Yeah. But I also think we're going to see Ryder, Clancy play Ryder. I think we're going to see General Dodonna. They were, all those guys were there by Rogue One and into Star Wars. Maybe not Nadine. I don't think we saw Nadine in Rogue One. But
I'll tell you who we are going to see, because you guys all saw that little mini documentary, right?
Yeah, I watched it today.
We're going to see the Emperor.
Yeah, I think we will too.
Like, they didn't show him in it, but in the last 30 seconds, you could hear him.
I think we're going to be a hologram.
Yeah,
I think we're going to see a hologram.
I don't think it'll be a hologram.
He's going to be on Krennic's ass.
I think that's too cheap. I don't know. It's not going to be like a Qui-Gon throwback in Kenobi. I think he's going to be on it. Like,
they're going to show him with Vader probably. And then they're going to both be on Krennic's ass.
I think it'll be. I think we're going to see Vader and we're going to see the Emperor, and they're trying to keep that as a little bit of a secret. Because I think that's going to be the point where people are like, "Oh, cool, awesome."
Hopefully, they have a big 3-way fight with Luthen, and Luthen goes down.
Luthen, Vader,
and Luthen finally busts out some fucking badass saber that we've never seen.
Isn't it wild?
Did
how
you
he
see
finds the rarest shit too?
Say that again.
How Luthen finds the rarest shit, like that statue.
Oh,
1 of 9 in the galaxy. And all that.
Like Blue Bonnet.
Did you see Plo Koon's? Plo Koon's.
Yeah, Plo Koon's.
Yeah, all the same good stuff was in there back in the treasure shop. But so we're back in space, Saskatchewan, I like to call it. Yeah. Mina Rao. Well, let's say Rao. But like the little houses on the side of the mountain here. I'm sure that's CGI, but it looks pretty cool.
A cool little gondola going up to it, yeah.
And I tried to get as many shots of Bix as I possibly could.
Of course you did.
Just for no reason whatsoever. Great actor.
Yeah.
So is this Mellish? Or
no, that's the son of that guy that they executed or hung or whatever.
Yeah, he blew
but he's
up
got a name. I just thought other people. Melshi? No,
it's not Melshi.
Oh, those Ferrex people.
I know that's Bix.
Melshi?
That's Bix. Maybe someone in the chat know, and that's that.
Rushcott Melshi is one of the characters.
Yeah, he'll be in later. Melshi's in later.
So this is kind of a new ship. I haven't seen this one before, but they say
we saw it in the cartoons.
Imperial in the cartoons.
Yeah.
Then we got Andor landing on this grassy, woodsy mystery planet.
Well, landing. He dropped it.
It just kind of fell out of the sky. Right?
I can't believe that him and his name wasn't Porkins, but Porker, whoever the guy that we never saw that he's looking for. I can't believe they didn't have any like post or pre-landing like signal. Like I'm gonna fly by twice, and then you shoot a flare up if it's safe to land. That was a total fuck up on Cassian's part to just fucking think.
They keep having him do the Three's Company make a mistake thing, like he was in
exactly.
He was going along, then he's in prison, then he's going along, and
I thought
it's like
the pace,
let him get to his destination.
When it got to the wedding scenes, it kind of like it was just drama, right? It was just dialogue and drama. But when it got to but it was still the cameras were panning, or there were like drone shots, or there was following in behind characters.
That's a new one.
But so that continued throughout all the different scenes. But in this planet, it was a little more choppy and handheld, and it wasn't as graceful on the grassy, woodsy planet. And then we got Malthine Divide. So this is another Imperial stronghold on
that's definitely Alaska.
Is that also Alaska?
That's left coast.
Malthine Divide.
That
That's out that
definitely
way.
definitely looks Alaskanish to me.
For sure.
Yeah.
I think it was Saskatchewan.
No, they don't.
Or Calgary.
Ain't no mountains in Saskatchewan.
You sure it's not Calgary?
Krennic. We got Krennic finally.
Calgary.
Yeah, I loved seeing Krennic. I thought this was great.
Yeah.
Did you think there was like double meaning in that little video he made him watch?
Well, there was this whole meeting was about we gotta deliver the propaganda to the people. So whatever. Like it's weird, but I get it. Like it's gonna be the introduction to like the Empire taking over the galaxy. It starts with the propaganda. We've always seen a little bit of propaganda.
A lot of interesting references in this part too, you know.
Yes.
Why don't we have a
They
play?
basically said there's a mineral under the planet that no one is currently mining, but they know it's there.
Yes.
And they're not mining it because they don't want to ruin the environment for the spiders. And the silk that the spiders make is what's producing all the money for this planet. But to the Empire, they could care less about the spiders and the silk.
Yeah, of course.
They're going to make up a story about some rebellion, insurrection, or something, and give an excuse and a reason for the Empire to take over. And then once the Empire have taken over, they're gonna strip mine the whole planet.
Well, and that's what
that's where these two guys come in. These are the two directors of propaganda.
Yeah.
What's the Deirdre? You know, that was her whole recommendation. You need to have rebels that you can count on to do
wrong,
which is also an interesting reference to like modern.
Yeah.
Yeah. Exactly.
Situations, right.
So yeah, we got this video. It wasn't really a propaganda video. It was just a video like promoting this planet.
This reminded me of the old 60s Walt Disney.
Yeah.
Come down to Disney.
Exactly.
We have our own. Yeah, that was totally
like it would have been made in the late 70s. You know what I mean?
Krennic was like mocking it, like, "Oh, they're so successful."
And that's the other thing I like about Andor and the Rogue One. Only Andor and Rogue One have really accomplished this. Is they all have like haircuts and just looks that kind of make them look like could be. And these guys maybe not as much, but we do see it in some of these characters where they're kind of out of the 70s.
One guy had an amazing flat top. I have to give him that.
Yeah, but what I'm noticing too is I think every single character so far is British. Like everyone has an accent.
Oh, sorry, you guys.
Except for maybe a couple that we know, but it's interesting. So everyone's British in the beginning, right?
Oh yeah, all the bad guys.
Well, we know they become all the bad guys, but in the beginning, it's like, do they always become bad guys? So yeah, these thugs kind of arrest Andor, capture him, tie him up, whatever. And
what a ragtag shit group of rebels.
It was neat. It was neat.
They weren't there for him.
They got weird in a little bit. So there's that smile that Deidre's so good at.
Can we?
Are you going to
bring up the part with her and Cyril?
We'll get there.
See, I think what's going on here. Let's see this again. You've got to read between the lines and under the surface. You think you're watching a meeting about spiders and them mining, but you're not. This is showing you. This is showing you the organization, the planning, the direct results of the Empire and how they're going about. And then they're contrasting these scenes with scenes of the rebellion, which is a mess. The rebellion with Andor on the planet. Those rebel troops are a mess. They can't even get along in their own group. They're arguing and fighting all the time, and then they end up splitting into two groups and actually fighting. Where the Empire, where they're contrasting it with the Empire, showing you the scenes in the boardroom and other things where they're showing them a rigid, organized, like determined, organization.
But a lot of them can't get along and make different plans behind each other's backs too. Like, let's have
don't
meetings.
See that bickering right here was what John's kind of trying to say, right? Like
it's not so much bickering as
the opposite.
Like, oh, by the way, we're already doing an armory.
Yeah, they're completely the opposite in demeanor and the way they talk than that Rebels crew you kind of see, right? But these guys look like they're right out of 1977, and they've never changed since.
Yeah.
So they look great. And then I was looking forward to seeing these two together because I knew they must have had some kind of experience together, because I think they've met several times in the past, but I didn't know if it was romantic or if it was just business or what it was about.
I think he
just
values
admires her.
He
He admires her for being ruthless.
Yeah.
And he might have known her as a child, as we learned.
He called her. He
was
called her on
raised
it
by-
too. He's like, you already had a plan. Just tell me.
Yes, he knows. He knows she's
That's what he wanted.
badass.
Yeah.
And he kind of asked her what her plan was, and she straight up said, like what John said, you got to get the good guys to start doing some bad stuff, and then we step in or whatever, right?
Yep.
Which is kind of what we saw already happen in season 1. But the other way around, the good guys were doing it on purpose, starting a riot. But yeah, we got Space Saskatchewan, we got cool granaries here.
Yeah. And again, I wonder if those can move, like they can lift him up and move him to somewhere else or something. You know what I mean? Like, because I thought it was interesting. Like if you look at farmers, like in our society, we build a permanent house and a permanent barn and a permanent place to put our vehicles and equipment, and the fields are they're over there. You know what I mean? Like, but to this, the field goes right up to the harvesting equipment. The field goes right up to their living quarters. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So there's no permanent, and everything's on stilts or on like landing gear. So I get that it left me the impression that all this stuff must be movable. That when they completely get done harvesting this whole field, those things will move out somewhere else and harvest the next part of the planet. You know what I mean? Like,
it's like a whole planet of wheat.
Yeah, in a sense, it's like a planet of wheat. Yeah.
Real men eat wheat. You know that?
They eat their Wheaties.
So, just out of respect, I would like to remember this character's name.
Brazos.
What's his name?
Bill.
Brazos.
Brazos? Is that it?
Brasso. Yes, I just want to remember that.
Great name.
More of the roundness.
Oh,
they got a little grassy knoll in the middle there. But there's alien number 1. Boom.
Yeah.
Bam.
Hammerhead.
We finally got one.
I think this planet is kind of racist towards aliens.
That's Hammerhead.
Maybe prejudice is a better word. They're alien racist. But here's the two daddies giving away or arranging their children to be married.
Yeah, it's crazy.
With their
the style.
Gorman
she really realizes the weight of her decisions in these episodes. Like, what am I doing for all to
But again, with the cinematography being, everything centered, like they could have been standing 3 feet to the left of that round door, but no, they got to be right in the middle.
Oh yeah, it's better. It's perfection.
And did you catch here, Luthen heard this kid talking about?
Yeah,
he's like, where have you been stationed? His eyes light up.
So what are you doing over there? Trying to get some.
His eyes all lit up.
He's acting like it's small talk, but he's really fishing for information.
Like I've said from season 1, the Scarlet Pimpernel of Star Wars, right there.
Yeah.
And
stab him later.
Where did everybody go? He said.
So this is Kai. That's his name.
Kai, yeah.
Kai and Mon. I've heard people just call her Mon, and it sounds very reggae. And it's different. I have to get used to it. Usually they say her full name, but because these are her friends and family, they can call her Mon.
Yeah, Mon.
And then a big, huge round room here. Their daughter just crying in the middle of it.
Just sits in the middle of it. Yeah, it's like, don't you have a chair or something you could go to?
That's like my whole neighborhood. My whole neighborhood could fit in that circle room.
I know. Well, it look like a dance hall or something. Is that where they're dancing later on in the last?
Maybe.
Yeah.
But that would take a lot of work to put all those chairs and stuff, or move all the furniture.
No, they got people for that.
Yeah, that's what they use the aliens for.
Uh-huh.
Slave labor. So are they fighting each other yet? I think they're fighting each other now.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Oh, so this is the very first slide of the whole show today.
Yeah,
Perfect
1 year
timing.
later. 1 year after season 1.
Yeah. I feel like the kids aged like 3 years though.
Well, I guess that's the last photo I got is Andor escaping. But there should be a photo that shows
Sagrona
that
Teema.
the planet he's actually escaping. Who wants to spill the beans?
Yeah, it looked like Yavin, didn't it?
Episode 2 was called Sagrona Teema.
The planet he was leaving was indeed Yavin. Like, so
Yavin
those
4.
16 punk hippie kids, fighting over like rations and who gets to not fly the spaceship are going to become like parts of the rebellion.
You think so?
Not?
Well,
Well, yeah,
they kept arguing saying, well, your brother dropped us off and left us.
I don't think they're going to become stormtroopers.
I think they're all going to get eaten by that warthog.
Yeah, that
They get eaten
that
by
reek
those
monster.
creatures, yeah. But
those
that's
guys
what
are
I'm
fucking
saying.
toast.
They are part of the rebellion right now, but they're not. The wires got crossed. They didn't know.
Yes.
They didn't know that
The
Andor and his other guy was going to be there. When they lost the brother, however they lost it, it seemed like they had 3 different stories on what happened to the guy's brother. He was either killed or he abandoned him or he went out looking for help. I don't know which one it was, but one of those 3 stories. When he left, the 2 different crews fell apart, and I think it's all just showing how the rebellion isn't communicating between its own cells. There's different cells that are not communicating with each other, and even within certain cells, when they're trying to work together, they're having their differences and they're just like falling apart. I think that's what that whole thing was about.
Well, and at the cost of having the rebellion, there's a certain point where they can't. They can't. I mean, look at these guys, right? They can't even get along. They sure as hell don't need to know, who Luthen is or who, you can't trust these yahoos with any kind.
Yeah, like it'd be interesting if we do learn who their like contact is.
Yeah.
Like
What was it was a woman was their leader, right? Maya? Was that what they were?
I think something like that. What was Ahsoka's code name?
Fulcrum.
So yeah, like I'm not saying Fulcrum is their contact or whatever. They're boss man. But there's probably a Fulcrum type character that's like they're in between them and Luthen or Mothma or Saw Gerrera.
Well, Luthen's code name of Axis is what the Empire.
Right, but that's what I think is going to happen there, though, is they figured out Andor. They'll find Luthen in some way, and that's when he'll make his sacrifice to keep the secrets.
So yeah, episode did end, but the next one started, with the ship taking off. Like it continued on very well. And they're just shooting at it with blasters. And then that big reek-looking creature, didn't get a good shot of it here, but just comes by and I guess just eats someone or tears them in half.
Rip somebody away, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And while all that's happening, because they're battling each other, Andor steals a gun and gets away.
We had one stashed in his ship.
This is where...
Well, it's a good way to show an arc, though, to show like the ragtag beginnings and the failures until we get to the guys in the orange jumpsuits and the organization,
Yeah.
I mean? So,
well, I mean, they showed the same kind of arc in Rebels cartoon because at a certain point, Fulcrum shows herself as being Ahsoka, and you get to see Jimmy Smith's character shows up in the animated form, and
so
Leia shows up. And they say you're part of a larger rebellion. You're just one cell, and that's when Ezra and Hera and them realize that they're part of a larger rebellion, and they were just one cell. And then and by the end of Rebels, you've got the rebellion all kind of working together.
Right.
So I think we're going to see the same thing happen in the show every year that we move forward. There's going to be a little more and more organization coming.
Yeah.
And I think because you brought him up, Jimmy Spitz character, because I saw something on Twitter yesterday that Bail Organa will be in Andor, but it's not played by Jimmy Smits. It's played by another like Aboriginal American actor.
They get
Because he looks a little younger, I guess.
Yeah, a little younger.
I don't think it's because Jimmy Smits didn't want to do it or whatever.
Oh no, I'm sure he would have done
because he's a little younger.
Yeah,
and that's going to be my guess. Maybe that's who their contact is here, just to bring him into the. We know I'm pretty confident we're going to see him. Like again, these are rumors, but this was the silliest part of the show.
Yeah, the rock paper scissors.
They're like, okay, we're gonna rumble, man. And they're like, he picks a guy. They each pick two guys.
They came out like this.
Battle to the death. I got my two guys. You got your two guys. And then they're like, rock, scissors, scissors. And I'm like, what the
fuck?
They're literally playing space rock paper scissors.
Yeah.
Or space alligator swamp monster. I don't know what they play in space, man. Data pad, laser sword.
It's claw. It was claw, fist,
claw.
No, I couldn't.
Yeah, the claw thing remind me of that dodgeball movie, and I'm like,
it was Rancor, Wampa, Tauntaun.
Is that what it was?
Well, actually I didn't watch it with subtitles, which I usually do the second time. I'll be honest, the second time when I watched it today to get these screenshots, I watched it at 3 times speed. I've never watched anything at 3 times speed before. Just blah, 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 blah. But I got to catch things that I'm like, oh yeah, that's right, yeah, that happened. Rock, paper, scissors, laser sword. But yeah, Luthen and Mothma in another dress. Oh, I didn't save those photos. Some official photos came out today of all the costumes. Not all of them. Most of the costumes of the main characters in this first 3 episodes. Everyone has one costume except her. She has like 8. So literally in this 3 episodes that we saw, which is over 48 hours, she changes her clothes like 8 times.
Yeah, but it was like each phase of that celebration, she changed with the daughter.
Sure. But I mean, it was like she had a dress like right before she walked into the round room, and then a different dress when she did walk into that one round. Like every time we saw her, she was changing her clothes. And then we got some
DJ Clea
dropping the beats. Clea.
Yep.
This is cool. I loved that this is like all shit from Radio Shack. Like we don't even have Radio Shack anymore, but
right.
Where do ILM and the people that make all these props, where do they get all these gadgets if there's no more radio?
There's a warehouse full of shit.
They go to
they just got stuff saved from years ago.
Go to Alibaba and Teemu and buy all the calculators.
Just go break an old computer and pull something out of it.
But again, just perfectly symmetrical.
Is that a bantha horn on display? Like
maybe they got to even something out here. I don't like that one thing's a little taller on this side. Get a second one and put it right here.
It all focuses into her though. It's just at an angle. It's like a very Orson Welles kind of a shot. It's off angle, but then it tapers to her. It's good shit.
A good example, like Orson Welles, and I'm trying to think of the other.
There's that circle again.
Another filmmaker that people like to put into AI and they make movies, little trailers made in this guy's style, and it's just a monotone voice. I can't think of the name, but again, he's very colorful filmmaker, and this show kind of gave me vibes of that, and like you just said, Lack, like it pulls from different genres and filmmaker styles. And one of them, which I think I said right at the beginning, I get a little soap opera vibe. Like every time there's not someone flying a TIE fighter or shooting at stormtroopers, it's very, these are the days of our lives. And like there's a little scene going on where the woman's bickering at the man, and another scene, the man's bickering at a different man.
These 3 episodes, even much more so than season 1,
a lot more.
Very cerebral. They are very old school, like
they're telling a lot of stories.
Like when you watch films from the 60s, they're like this.
Yeah, right? Exactly. Like it was on stage almost.
Yeah, and people are acting with their.
She was acting with her face.
Yeah, and when Luthen cuts his eyes, like if you're paying attention and you maybe have like a higher, whatever you want to call it, if you have like a higher being of observation, like you don't have to fucking explain everything, right?
Yeah,
like all these new shows and new movies,
exactly.
Like, completely
this conversation is a great
for
example
the dumbest person in the theater, And like this is like very 1960s. You know, like smart people are gonna get it.
She's playing her role here because he's telling her the rebellion is affecting my business interests, which in turn is affecting your money, but it's causing me all these other problems, and I have to get out. I have to make it right.
Well, I think he
and
wants
so
one of
she's
two
reacting.
things.
She's reacting to the camera to give us her emotions, but it's like she's lying but telling the truth at the same time. It's like she's telling us the truth but lying to him.
See, I think that what happened here is he's giving her an ultimatum. He's saying,
definitely.
I either want in 100%, and I want to know what you're doing. Like he suspects that what she's doing, but she
because
never
he's like, everything's falling apart for me, so I need something to back.
So
this
it's
up.
like either let me in, or I'm gonna come clean and wash myself of this business. Yeah. And that right there is why Luthen's like, would you have told me if I hadn't been here to see it? You know.
Well, he's lost everything personal, so he's like a man with nothing to lose right here.
I don't think this Thai guy. I don't think he wants in. I think he's just he
wants to make
sees the
money.
Opportunity to make some. You know, he's
he wants in her space panties.
I don't think he gives a shit about the movement or whatever, right? I don't
think he knows exactly.
I don't think he knows about it. Is right.
Why did they show him in his limousine driving off?
Wait till we get there.
Because that's just foreshadowing that he's going to die.
Right before he dies.
Is that what you thought from it?
You know who's driving the car, right? You recognized her, right?
Oh, was that her?
That's the girl from the first season. That is the other girl. That is Mon Mothma's
cousin
girlfriend.
That said, do you want me to have him taken out earlier on?
So I was just going to say, in season 1, Dedra was the big eye actor of that whole season, I thought. As we saw, we saw her trembling and different things. Bix was also a good eye actor. Now we're seeing Mon Mothma in several scenes where she's not saying anything, and the camera's just kind of got that perfect angle on it. And then Luthen too, my keen observation noticed, his little glances and
his toupee
hiding behind the pillars and
his hair.
And he's got one of those little Radio Shack
Luthen is
listening devices.
He's watching them talk. It's obvious that something is going. I mean, it's like this is a big thing that we do at my new job. Right?
He's a good actor.
You don't have to hear them, but you see the interaction. You see the demeanor of the people.
Yeah, exactly.
He's a really good actor, but I'm always reminded of his character in Thor, like where he's very clumsy and funny, and But I know he's an actor and he can play all these different roles, but it's just part of me can't see him as serious. But when I see him and some of these glances and stuff, then I'm like, oh damn, I would not want to owe this guy money, right?
No, you don't want to fuck with Luthen, baby.
No, there'll be a turn for him, a character turn for him.
Now they're gonna.
I just want to say, color me surprised.
He is set in his character. He will remain himself. It will be these other people that will want to vilify him.
Let me just say right now, color me surprised with the Daedra serial. I was like, what the fuck?
I fully expected it.
I mean, I thought
when he saved her life at the end of the season 1, you can
tell I get it. But I was just shocked at how deep it already was in a year. I was like, what?
He's a lady killer.
You got to bring mom over? What?
Took a whole year for her to meet mom.
I'll tell you.
Right.
Anyone that I was dating for a year, if I waited a year to introduce them to the parents, I would be in trouble.
Is that a torture droid back there?
Yeah, right.
That's a torture.
Is that Vader's droid from the Death Star?
No, that's a torture sex droid, Brett.
Little wine.
You know these two motherfuckers.
She sets on that after dinner.
Fucking freaky.
So yeah,
I was with a girl once for a long time, and she's
like, Cyril, go to your quarters. I'm going to sit on this egg.
So this is Coruscant.
Yeah.
We do get a little glimpse of the outside. I didn't get a shot of it.
A much better Coruscant than what we saw.
Cool to see such a familiar location, right? And then here they're trying to turn the TIE fighter so they can shoot.
Yeah. But that shows the will and the determination of the rebels, though.
And Andor's like, it's going to take them 11 and a half hours, 5 centimeters a minute.
Yeah.
I'm like, what?
It's just misguided, The energy's
Another
there.
little on location.
We got to do something, even if it's
this
wrong.
is the walkway
Yeah.
up to Machu Picchu.
The wedding walk. So this is where all the hobbits is.
So is this still on Coruscant?
This is Machu Picchu.
This is on Chandrilla.
That's Frodo and Gandalf.
I sure would like to see. They were talking about they used to take that trail to go hunting and stuff. I think that'd have been some cool.
Yeah, there was some good
They're
dialogue.
like riding something with lances and like spearing some animals. That would be so cool to see.
Stormtroopers.
They mention how old it is and how it's a tradition, to go on this wedding hike. But when they showed it from far away, like there's some steep parts to this that most people we know could not make that walk. Like it looks like it'd take a lot out of you. But yeah,
Think for yourself, Rick.
like climbing Mount Everest. And then these
motherfuckers.
These fuckers.
Jeez.
I don't see any logos on there. It could be imposters, but they're like touching the grains and like.
Yeah.
There's that shot of him leaving in his Yavin from the first episode.
Well, it's Yavin 4. Yeah.
So spoiler alert.
Is he heading to Andor?
Technically, Yavin is the red planet that you see, the gas giant.
Yeah.
And then,
Yavin 4 is the fourth moon of Yavin.
That's no
by
moon.
next week, I'll know this character's name because he's been in every episode for 2 years.
There's a shortage of good-looking women around.
It was Belzy or Bella or Bezla or something like
That's
that.
like someone is Melshi. I don't know, but it's not.
Melshi wasn't in these.
No, he's
I know. Yeah, I know.
not here.
But that's the name I remember because I like this character. He's the Thing, right?
Is he?
Is Melshi the same actor that's playing the Thing? And
I
he's
don't
in
know.
The Bear?
I have no idea.
You okay, Brett? Oh, bless you.
Oh, bless.
Space dust.
My
Moon dust.
future father at Domino's.
Oh,
Moon
this shot
dust.
first. So we get this same scene again where we
Stay on
first meet,
Domino's.
where Cyril first starts his
Gonna hurt
job, but now he's the senior guy training the new kid. He's like snapping his finger, like,
He's
"Hey,
like,
don't look where I told you to look."
He's
He's
like-
like all bossy.
I made the Kessel run in 12 parsecs, kid.
Yeah.
So he's kind of explaining the things and the stuffs.
Brett just 3D printed all that.
But this is where he made that comment. Oh, your
Nice.
lover's over there.
No. So
He's
your
like,
boyfriend's here.
What did you mean by that? Like, she reminds me of
think
C-3PO a little bit.
That guy's such a fucking dick, isn't he?
He is a dick. I hope he dies.
I would punch him in the face right now.
They're only married still for like the outward appearances. You know what I mean? Like it's
Yeah.
Well, they were hitched as kids, like they were arranged,
Yeah.
right? So they kind
Yeah,
of,
they were arranged. They might
Like
not
they
have been
broke.
like each other.
I don't know, is on that planet of Elf Duranian or whatever it's called. Is it they're not allowed to break up? Is that a tradition?
I mean, certainly when you're that high ranking in the society, probably.
Yeah,
not.
look at that smile.
Melchi wasn't killed by Andor. Melchi lives to the end of Rogue One. He dies as one of those guys that was going for the switch
Yeah.
in Rogue One.
Oh, okay. Look at that
The
smile.
master switch, it's over there.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
You think she
Err.
gets her hole removed and
She's got like 8 of them.
She's
Dude.
making money now.
She's a good-looking lady. It's seeing her in the
making money
civilians
now.
at celebrations. She's
that isn't
Here's a quarter. Go get a rat to gnaw
You're
that
gonna rat
off
to
the
gnaw
face.
that thing off your face.
I know, right? Yeah. Why you can burn
I have
that
to
off.
say, this guy's haircut cannot
I know it's the best.
that cannot,
Cannot be any
regulation.
more 70s.
That
I'm
is
so
not
jealous.
a regulation imperial fucking
Neither were in the half of the shit you saw in the 70s.
No way.
Dudes with beards, mustaches, hair with a collar.
So
Yeah,
these two
eyebrows.
factions of rebels are fighting, and they're going to look for one of their people, and he finds her foot.
You got all these pictures like way out of order, dude.
Because it's
He already
my fault,
escaped,
John.
and now we're back to the
We're
fighting
already
on
in
the
episode
planet.
3.
Yeah.
there might have been points of the episode where I'm like, oh, I should screenshot that, and I go back, and it goes by time. So here's Andor drinking drips, which I think is how this episode started.
But, yeah.
You gotta look out for no
Here's the crawling before he
Yeah.
finds the foot. You know what?
Yeah, before he finds the foot.
she. That's a girl there.
Oh, yeah. Is that the
She
end of
finds
that?
the foot.
I
So,
think that's-
so
I
next
think that's
week
the end
will
of
be
this
another.
episode.
We'll be another year into this next week,
Mhm.
and I feel like maybe it'll be more interaction between Luthen and Andor.
God, let's hope so.
Like
I
he'll
think
see him.
that's what it'll be next week, because it's showing like Luthen with her. Then he's like the one thing that's going to move through everybody's arc. You know what I mean? Like they're
Remember,
going to
next
be
week
after him.
is a year later.
By the end of this, they're going to be after Luthen, hot and heavy.
Mm-hmm.
Deidre's going to figure it out, and
right?
she's going to be after his ass.
Yeah,
we are going to be hard deep into Gorman. All the stuff that we saw in the trailers.
Remember the first opening scenes of Rogue One? You see Andor, he's in the alley and he's kind of got the collar up and he's the man. They're wanting to talk to him. And
dagger, baby. Yeah.
They get the info and he takes off running and everything. It's like, I feel like it's, even though it's Andor, it's like, it's the story of how Andor became the leader of the spark of the rebellion. So like Luthen's just somebody who comes along and wants to find that to help him further.
And how did Luthen get started? Like who?
Luthen's going to be
invited him, so to
maybe
speak,
some
right?
of that'll get revealed, but I think like he's going to be who Deidre's putting her focus on and get the Empire after, and he can sort of take that, give himself up as a sacrifice to help Andor continue on with the rebellion. And I think it'll be that final push right before you get to the movie at the end of this.
Skeen and Mel.
Yeah, I think Luthen will die before
Luthen will be the big focus in the
what's
next
the name of the actor who plays the Thing in Andor season 1? Because he's not dead as far as I know.
No.
Him and Andor they hugged on Scarif and they're like, all right, on their separate when they're in their Roosevelt's dress shirts. So then he's floating in space because he's got his communication device is too old for this modern ship. So he's got to like hotwire it to try and make his transmission, and he blows himself to smithereens and does some space donuts. So I kind of wanted to see this kid's little toy gun. It's like because it was a bowcaster.
Yeah, it was a
bowcaster.
Yeah, super cool.
And then we got these little kind of Ugnaughty looking kind of dudes.
Yeah, little Ugnaughty guys.
So a couple more aliens here on the Saskatchewan planet.
But I wonder if at the end did they leave the droid there?
The droid is with the guy. Yeah, I think the droid is with the guys with Brazos' girlfriend, the Irish chick.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, R2-BMO.
I think he left him. He abandoned his droid.
R2-BMO from the black hole.
Well, yeah, but he'll be
without the big eyes.
I'm assuming he'll be back. So this to me, this is just beautiful. Like, just
what's that giant like cow thing, man?
That's called
like a giant
space yak.
Space yak, exactly.
I just love it because it's a stark contrast to the white and the gray and the concrete and the angular parallel. Everything's centered, and here they're just out in the grassy knoll. Space Saskatchewan. And this guy, like, I don't think this guy turned on Brasso like Brasso.
No.
I think Brasso was just kind of making a
Brasso
scene.
did it to save his life.
Yeah, just kind of make a scene.
Yeah. Because if they found out that guy was working with Brasso and them, then he would be killed as well.
Another example of storytelling through actions rather than
words. He's a very good actor. I'm sure I've seen him in like Walking Dead or like some cowboy shows or something, because I do recognize him. But he did well. Like, his character had a small role, but he was passionate about it. Like, you could tell that he cared for these people. Again, more of this beautiful elvenness.
In the circle again.
Just everything's circle.
Always in the middle.
Not CGI, which is just blows me away. And some of the scenes, they open these doors and they just kind of roll to the side, like, just beautiful. But so Mon.
I was trying to think of the architecture here, where I'm like, so wait a minute, if your door rolls into the thing, then that means there's no room on the other side. Like, the wall has to continue for it to go into the wall.
At least that much distance.
Because otherwise you've got
like budget,
Otherwise you've got door-sized spaces between each room.
Yeah, because look at that. Because look, there's a corner right here, Oh no, this one looks like it splits in the middle.
Yeah.
There's other ones where it kind of just
the whole door opened all the way to the
Yeah.
side, you know? Yeah.
But yeah, so Mon is telling her daughter, like, you know what, right now you don't have to do this. You can walk away right now. Like Mon wishes she did when she was a kid. And her daughter's like, she's very much into the planet's traditions and all the stuff to do with it. Like she loves it.
Well, her and all her friends.
Mon is also looking for. She's also looking for a way for her to be out too, right? That's what.
Well, she also knows it's going to be short-lived with what's coming, right? Like in a way. Like, well, maybe this isn't a good time to get married.
She can nix the marriage, then she can undo the deal with the guy. This is like Mon's last-ditch effort because she had just gotten that speech from Luthen, right? Like she knows that Luthen now knows that shit is getting hairy. You know, because this is after she's contemplated when Luthen was like, well, would you have even told me? And she says yes. And like Luthen knows that's bullshit.
She's given up her daughter. She's given up her beliefs. She's given up her husband at one time.
Look, Mon is about this close to being the next one Luthen takes out. Once her money dries up or once she's compromised, like she's next. And that's why
she has nothing left to invest.
Yeah. Mon and her cousin Val are going to be the ones that are going to want to get rid of Luthen. And they're going to turn on.
That could be.
Because they're bitches.
So we have the tradition of walking over sticks.
That'd be a good twist, actually, like.
And
then they cut the hair.
There's a modern religion that still does that during a marriage.
You see, but you see her in the background looking at the knife.
Mm-hmm. That's not a knife.
It's more than just cutting hair, you know.
And then they played here when it got to this scene back at Coruscant. It's Cyril's apartment here, or I guess Dedra's apartment.
Well,
it was that same Andor theme, but it was kind of like bow chicka bow wow. It was kind of like a little bit soft,
and then his mom shows up,
soft and romantic, like because they're both getting dressed here, right?
On all of it.
And the music was Andor, but with a little bit of a, I don't know, man, like not.
Somebody else said the dance music at the end is
like
a
love making, like it was groovy, baby.
Yeah, it had some on it.
And then here she is. She's like, "Oh, look, should I wear white with?
Should I wear this white outfit?
Should I wear white with this white belt or black?
Look at her smile. I'm going to wear black." So this is basically the exact same thing that Cyril wears, like the same tie that.
It's very imperial, though.
Yeah, but it's like. If you open up her closet,
Darth Vader collection.
It'd be like 95 white things and like 95 black things.
It's like, from the Darth Vader collection. Do I do Stormtrooper white or Vader black?
Look at her not smile at this white outfit.
I'll wear the Emperor black this time.
Because she wears white to work every day. And then this black one. Oh, yeah, black it is.
Yeah.
So I wonder if by the end of this, she'll be wearing a black Imperial person. If that's
or the gray.
You get a raise, they give you a black shirt.
Why would she move out of?
No, they could make her a Grand Moff by the end of this.
I'm just saying. I don't know.
She could get
the white wasn't military. The white was intelligence. She's in intelligence.
Yeah, but they could have crossover.
Usually, intelligence don't move into military. Like
she could be the one though.
Like she didn't go to boot camp, is what I'm getting at. Like,
I understand, but she could definitely be an officer.
It's like someone going to the CIA, you know. You don't usually see a CIA agent suddenly become a Marine. You know what I mean?
No, no, but she probably did start off like that, though, right?
She could be the one, man. She's pretty ruthless. She could be the one.
I think we're going to see her not turn good by the end of this show.
Oh, no, she's not. No one's turning good.
So Cyril sees this little space fondue fork is crooked, so he's perfectly centers it. Because he knows, like me, I like just symmetry and everything. And I have this fork and spoon from IKEA as well.
Well, those weren't those the original silverware from Galaxy's Edge that everyone was stealing?
I think so. Yeah,
and now they don't have them there anymore.
No, they just have plastic stuff now.
Yeah,
so everything's all wooden now. Like the one thing this is just a short little rant. I hate dragging a wood fork through my teeth.
Or a paper straw.
Oh, I hate paper straws.
I don't drag paper straws through my teeth. Like I suck on them, and then 8 seconds later they fall apart. That's
right.
Yeah.
But isn't Trump making straws great again?
Yep.
I think he is. Yeah,
Oh, but
yeah.
wait, they're made in
It's an
China.
executive
So
order.
By order of the
they'll
Galactic
cost
Empire,
$11 each now.
It was a
the Emperor has
galactic.
approved to get rid of paper straws.
But I
It was a
just
galactic order.
Material
Yeah.
everywhere
based.
in Canada, it's a big thing now. Like every fast food or takeout, or if you go to big music festivals or food festivals, everything is like made of paper. Like
You want to
you
go
get
to
your
the Outer
paper
Rim?
plate, you get your wooden fork and knife, and I just hate the texture.
You want to play with the Outer Rim systems, Rick? Tariff.
And then we get Cyril's mom. I can't remember her name, sorry, but great actress.
She did really good in this. I know, really, really good.
She's
And
been
she got-
smoking.
She was
been
dragging
smoking
the food
cigarettes.
across the table.
She's
Yeah,
been smoking
dripping it all.
cigarettes her whole life just for
The
this.
food
role.
was just dripping all over. She was doing that shit on purpose.
Yeah.
And Deidre told her what's happening.
Yeah, put her in her place, basically.
Did
Yeah,
put her in her place.
Yeah.
yeah.
It didn't happen yet. I will get to that coming up. But Andor gets through to Clea and he's like, What? What they're doing
Clea.
what to the where and the when? And she's like, No, just stay on the line. She's like, stay on the line.
Please hold.
Basically. And this exact moment here, he's like, They did what? They did where? And she's like, Yeah, you just stayed in line. And you literally hear space dial tone. Ding.
Yeah.
And I'm like, they got space dial tone now? That was awesome because then their eyes rolled, and I'm like, yeah, we got space dial tone.
The number you were trying to reach.
So this is right when
He's having a breakdown.
Dedra is telling his mom what's happening, and he just finished having a little breakdown, getting all embarrassed because mommy's telling little stories. But yeah, see, Deidre knows where it's at. Oh, I thought I got her really scolding here, but not really. But you can probably buy this decanter at, Home Depot or Target
Winners.
or Winners, yeah. Or that fondue set. Give it a couple of days, people will have that all picked out on Walmart's website. And I don't remember the name of this fancy prancy one of 21 or 19 statues that were stolen by those fish-eyed lightsaber dueling people that we will get introduced to in Star Wars in the James Mangold movie, apparently. I don't remember their names, but we will all.
It's also
know
my
them.
favorite. Also my favorite kind of cheese, ricotta.
25,000 years
Is there
ago.
a force connotation with this statue?
No, but they mentioned they were all stolen by the invasion of these fish-eyed aliens with lightsabers way back in before the new Jedi started.
25,000 years ago? Yeah.
Yeah.
But they do look like, if you look at the statue and you remember when Yoda went on that quest in the Clone Wars to discover some of the ancient knowledge of the Jedi.
Yeah.
And he actually had to look inward on himself and face his own dark side. When he did that trial and went on that adventure for those 3 or 4 episodes, he came across these robed guys with the mask,
Alien.
Yeah.
and they looked like that.
Yeah, they did look like that.
So
Yeah.
I'm wondering if that is if the meaning of those statues has been lost over time, and that really does have some significance to the Jedi.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe it's kind of got an owl look to me.
It's like
Yeah.
a High Republic era.
Like I could find
There's one alien guy here with kind of like some big ears or horns, but there was one that was kind of very deer looking. Like it was just a perfect. Here's another
Yeah,
alien.
it's like
here.
Beauty and the Beast.
Yeah, like he was more like a mule or a horse or some kind of
Oh, I missed that guy. Shit.
animal. He's really quick.
Well, being a deer, I would imagine.
Oh dear.
But yeah, some kind of woodsy looking alien. So and the other ones were kind of fishy looking. But then it's space disco time,
Yeah, baby.
which kind of looks like a Death Star, right?
They said
And
that
a
was a
torture
remix.
droid.
They said that was a remix of the Andor theme.
It was. That's what I mean. Like when Deidre and Cyril were getting dressed, it was the Andor theme, but it was kind of like porno. Like it's
The sexy version.
the sexy get down. And this is the total. I heard one person complain about this, and I'm like, shut up, man. Because when this scene ended, it was epic.
Yeah, it was supposed to be kind of chaotic, you know. Like there's
because
like
it cut between
the episode descends into sort of chaos for everybody.
It cut between Space Rave where Mothma's getting drunk.
She's just letting loose. She's like, "Fuck it, it's over. I don't know what to do. I'm just gonna let loose." And then her husband's even looking like, "What the fuck?" And then you see, you know, Andor's having thoughts of his friend and Bix and all this stuff and everything, and Luthen, and everybody's just like, "What the fuck is happening?" You know, it just descended into chaos, and the music gets louder and louder to kind of back that up. You know, it's really cool.
I think she's dating Aquaman. Do you think she'd dump him and go for me?
Yeah,
probably. If you gave her a hammerhead,
if I grew my hair long, I'd be all in.
You told her you had a hammerhead.
Yeah,
I'll give my hammerhead. All right, but I think she is Jason Momoa's lady friend. And yeah, this guy, fuck him, right?
Fuck this guy.
I was really shocked that they put that in there.
It was
that was a big a big controversy.
But it wasn't so much that they put it in there. It was just that it was with her because she had already been tortured in season 1. It's like, damn.
Well,
even the girl can't catch a break.
It was the fact that it was implied.
Well, she got her ass
his
kicked
reason
too.
For what, like, he was going to space rape her. Like,
yeah, I know, but
she even says that, right? He tried to.
Yeah, she had to fight for her life there.
Oh, did she say that?
Yeah,
she yelled it.
When the guy
driving.
When the guy driving the truck outside, you know,
yeah. So that's
he's
the
like,
first
no,
time
man,
we've seen.
He's like, we're the Empire. That's what
any kind of sexual kind of forcefulness in any kind of Star Wars. And that's
well, you know how Acolyte made Jedi bad. They definitely turned that one around and showed you that the Empire was not about being good at all. You know.
Then, like the Clue board game, she hit Mr. Belding in the head with the crowbar.
Yeah.
Whatever. But bonk. And I thought this was a great, it was a great scene because
good fight.
You know, he was like 3 minutes from dying or, you know.
Right.
And he's walking around like, hey, what's going on? Like tripping and falling and, you know, probably oozing blood and all that stuff. And I was like, oh my God, man. Like we're going to see this violence like that we haven't seen. So I think this might be the most violent thing we've seen in Star Wars. What do you guys think?
Oh yeah,
possibly, yeah,
definitely
very real.
Yeah,
and amongst all the wicked 70s analog electronic stuff, like I love the look of this film. Man.
Yeah,
the 10 out of 10. And this is a girl that Brett didn't recognize, but yeah, this is.
Yeah, I didn't catch it. You got me.
Yeah. You see how quick Luthen was on that shit too?
Yep.
Yeah.
Like,
how do I get a job
also at the place Mon Mothma's cousin
where I build these freaking speeder cars?
Yeah.
Right.
I want to work there. If you're watching, you know, ILM guys or Mickey Mouse Club, whatever. I want to build.
Luthen was on the communicator, quick as hell in the bathroom. Like it's.
Well, I thought it was funny too that like he walks up, he goes, "Where's my normal driver?" And she's like, "Oh, he's out."
Oh, yeah. Then she turned around and we saw who it was, right?
And then she went like this: "You don't need to worry about your normal driver."
And then, bam! It's her former lover.
Yep.
Well, I don't think they're former. They're just, you know, the rebellion takes first, and this girl can't handle that. And that's part
She's jealous of everybody. She's jealous of Clea.
She's going to get in Mon's ear, and they're going to turn against Luthen.
Yep.
I think so too. I think
I didn't see that coming. That's a good catch. I did not see that coming.
Yeah.
I think she wants to be Luthen's secondhand man instead of Clea. So I can see her siding with Luthen instead.
Somebody always wants to usurp the power, right? So somebody wants to sees Luthen as this potent person, like leading this charge, and they're gonna be like, "Let's get him out of the picture."
No, I just think I don't think it's gonna be like that. I think they're gonna have a disagreement in how
that's already
run, and Luthen's gonna agree more with Saw Gerrera and just go with Saw's group, and then Mothma is gonna have her own rebellion without these hard-edged guys.
Like Ed would say, there's rebels, no rules here, right? Like. When it comes to Luthen, right? He needs Ed's T-shirt that says "Rebels No Rules."
Well, I definitely think the next move in the story is going to be Luthen and Andor interacting.
Well, I'm telling you, I'm hoping
Andor's going to be like,
get a
hey,
little
motherfucker,
more.
that ship was not the ship I was supposed to get.
I'm hoping we get a little more of her character development because she was just kind of in the background of this one. We knew she was there.
She's kind of like a female Luthen because she's out.
Who,
But
this girl? This
She
girl?
only had 3 or 4 lines of dialogue, though. She's very.
This girl is a spoiled brat who is trying to make more of her own ego by doing what she's doing, and that's and while
But
her
she's not doing
girlfriend,
anything. That's
while
the
her
thing. She's
girlfriend Cinta is like a Luthen,
Yes.
right? Like she's real, and this girl's just playing commando, and that's why she's letting her emotions, right? Like her biggest problem in this episode is that she hasn't seen her girlfriend. She's not worried about the rebellion. She's not worried about the bigger picture.
No, she's there to be at a wedding.
She's never been worried about anything.
That's her
except
home planet, right?
her own shit. Even in season 1, she was like that. You know.
So this is a shot of the TIE fighter coming in, which I got perfectly. You can see it. It's right there, centered on the screen.
Bam. I see it.
But it's a cool transport. We've seen this transport in Kenobi. And then Shkablamo!
Yeah. He fucks.
So that was pretty much like CNN news clips from war in Iraq. I thought, like, drone footage. Thought that was pretty brutal, man. Like, I think there was 8 people in that transport. I think there's -3 of them now.
Right. Nothing.
Like their grandchildren are not going to be able to reproduce. And then, rest in peace to Brasso.
Yeah.
Man, that sucked.
I think Brasso was the one that made me remember Nobody Survives and the movie.
Yeah.
It made me go, oh yeah, that's right.
Coming.
Like, oh yeah, that's right. Nobody lives. So it's like
I didn't see this coming at all. Like
no,
I didn't see
exactly.
anyone dying coming. Like
they just start. They're just going to start.
It's just
dropping.
like episode 1, right, so to speak.
Yeah.
So I didn't think anyone was going to die. So this sucked. We saw him, and the speeder bike got hit, and he kind of rolled and fell into the Saskatchewan.
The stormtrooper actually hit his mark for once.
Yeah. So yeah.
Well, we saw that guy taking time to aim. He was.
He did, yeah.
He was on it.
Then reunited with Bix.
He doesn't say, "Hey, where's my droid? Where's my only connection to my dead mother?"
She asked where Brasso was, and he's like, nope, don't ask, nope.
So when he gets taken out, they'll show Mon Mothma at the Senate. She'll like, so in his absence, I've decided to take over the charity.
Yeah. So here's just the music's starting now. The music, that techno music is still going, right?
Yeah.
It's been going for like 10 minutes.
Right.
Even when it's not the dance.
It's really starting to work on you by now.
We still hear that Andor. And then we get this wicked. We know it's going to happen. Like no one's stopping her from taking out this guy character. He's done. Right. Rest in peace to this guy.
Yeah.
I hope we get
the next line of dialogue would be, "This isn't my turn."
Yeah,
it's my stop.
Well, I didn't park here.
Why are we driving way out to the middle of the desert?
Exactly. What's this wheat field for?
Leave the gun, take the cannolis.
So, but I hope we see that happen. Like, I hope they don't just come back. What happened? It's done.
Done. We won't. If they skip a year, we're not seeing anything. We're not going to.
I think it's kind of cool that it's very old school, right? They drive away in the car, and he's.
Yeah, you know what? A year's gonna. I wonder because he did say every time we drop 3 episodes, a year has passed.
Right. So
curtains. This happened, man. That sucks.
Might be a flashback later, but not
I don't know. This show's not very flashbacky.
That's super adult that they just drive off in the car, and
it's sophisticated.
That's going on.
Very sophisticated.
Because, and then it's
super
taken off.
Cerebral is the word.
Yeah, cerebral is a perfect word, like. And then here's the TIE, all of them taken off because they got little bench seats in the back in this TIE fighter.
Yeah,
it's pretty cool.
Mm-hmm.
But they left the droid, didn't they? They left the.
Yeah, they left the droids. There's just the 3 of them. As you can see, they're extremely happy to be leaving that planet. You can tell here, Bix is.
Yeah,
they're sad, man. They lost.
She's been through hell.
And look at him, man. Like, Actor award goes to. So all three of them, like Mon Mothma in this episode, Bix, Andor, are acting the fuck out of it. Like, and is Tony Gilroy saying, "No, do it again. This time, make real tears come out your eyes." Like,
Right.
just
Take this onion.
insane.
Do it again. This time, make the face.
And they're going through this, and we're hearing, like he's got the space stereo going.
Oh yeah, Tony Gilroy is definitely like. Do you remember when you were 8 and your dog died?
Exactly. And then we got it spinning around, music going, and then boom, it just fades to black, man.
Yeah.
This is a wrong order, but that was the last episode. Was Mon Mothma here?
Well, put up what I shared. You can see the statue in the.
Okay, I see it now. Well, yeah, that was. I think, unless I don't remember correctly, that was the first time I've seen any Star Wars anything just cut to black, not fade to black. We've had cold opens. This was just black.
Yeah.
Hard as
And then
nails.
5 seconds, and then directed by, and I'm just like, you fuckers! Like,
You
now
thought you were
I'm
going to get
into
5
this.
more minutes.
I've been watching this for an hour and a half. Now I'm into it. Now I'm expecting the last half hour of.
Rick said,
the
"I'm almost
finale."
there. I'm almost there."
But
damn it.
good filmmaking, man. Good filmmaking. Add to stage. Can you zoom in on that on your end, John? Or can I?
Maybe here. Let me see.
Oh, yeah, those are the robot head guys?
Yeah, I
Well,
think
they're not
like,
robots. They were
like
floating.
Yeah, they're like
They were
spirits.
like deities.
They're like
In his dreams.
They were
kind
like
of,
force
right?
deities.
What?
Well,
Pornhub? What?
Apparently, if we zoom in, we get an ad. So apparently, yeah, I don't know what happened here.
it's
but-
it's because John, I thought that same thing too. I remembered those mask wearing robes.
Yeah, but whatever those.
Oh
those
wow,
guys
that's
were.
like that statue. Yeah, there must be
Cinta, that's her name, Cinta.
Cinta.
Yeah, strangles him.
Santa
Like,
Claus.
geez, like it's isn't that weird that it's just leading us on?
Yes, I
to
agree with
believe
you,
that.
Prophet. I agree with you. I think the first time we see Luthen
Okay.
side-eye their first conversation where Mon is obviously upset, he's already putting the wheels in motion. He calls Cinta. He says, "I need you to come over here. You know,
Because
bring the chauffeur outfit, bring the
Yeah.
waiter outfit. I'm not sure how we're going to do this, but this fucking guy's ass is grass."
I think, you know what, Luck? I'm going to say that was planned in way in advance, like, because they had no communications.
No, I
So he
think they
couldn't have communicated with
They
her.
gave it away when he said, "Would you have told me if I would have been here?" It was like,
yeah.
just
And she
confirmed-
goes,
just
she goes,
confirmed it.
yeah. No, that means no.
He's like, "Your
I
friends
see
are fucking this up."
Fluent
Insane.
lady, and that means
That's
no.
it. Rakuten Empire. That's the fish-eyed guys that stole all
Yeah.
the statues, 20,000.
And that was Luthen's way of saying, "The people you've lined up are fucking this up for us."
Yeah.
Hey, Brian, if you're still here.
What's up,
Yeah,
Brian?
so that was our
You,
3
brother?
episodes. And it just, like I was saying, it's really just that pace. It doubled in intensity the final 10 minutes, flicking from once Andor scenes, a wedding scene, Andor scene. It was just picking up, and then it just cuts like the power went out, like,
It's good shit, baby.
but it pissed me off. It was good shit, man. I was very impressed.
Good
I was
shit.
very impressed. As you guys know, I'm a huge fan of this director and this show, and I anticipated it was going to be a pretty epic, season, and I'm sticking with it, man. Like,
Oh yeah.
what
All
a good start. Like, I've only seen the 2 review channels that I like to watch. The one guy who's in like a video store, and
Oh,
some
yeah, I
other
know.
guy. The guy and his little puppy at your mom's
Yeah.
house. That guy.
Yeah.
So they point out just a couple of the Easter eggs and stuff, and they just rifle through it like boom, 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 boom. Here's another one, and I'm just like, oh yeah, okay, yeah, but that's cool because I don't want to watch you for an hour. I want to watch you for 15 minutes and catch a couple of things I might have missed. But yeah, man, and the only spoiler that I think is a spoiler is that little documentary, which also kicked ass. An extra 8 minutes or 10 minutes of making of gloriness, and just at the end, man, you see a couple new scenes, so you know some things that are going to happen. We don't know when, because they're not going to age, really, right? But then you hear the Emperor, or Palpatine, or who. You hear Ian McDiarmid speaking, and I'm positive it's not going to be a little hologram. Because and also, didn't Clea, when she walks to her her souvenir shop, wasn't she like walking through the Senate? Like it looked like she was taking a shortcut through this big round Orpheum looking thing with a bunch of round pods in it. And I'm like, they are on Coruscant, right? Like,
yeah, they're fucking downtown Coruscant, baby.
So I wonder if that is that council, like, where they all go and Palpatine's like, the Empire does all those things. Or Emperor, or she.
The balls on fucking Luthen, man. Fucking
so a year's going to pass. Where's Andor going to be?
Right.
And the two people in the ship.
Well, I don't. How many weeks are we doing this?
3 more.
Weeks.
There's only 3 weeks total.
3 left.
4 weeks.
Oh, 4 total.
Yeah.
So the next
I
one,
think they're all in a row. Like there's no long
like
weekend.
Gavin maybe is established, maybe, but we're definitely going to start seeing Gorman. Like that's.
Do you think in the next episodes we will see the Yavin get established, or do you think that'll be late?
No, that's down the road.
You think that's going to be late?
Yeah.
We're going to see the Gorman insurrection though in the next.
Deidre's boss
told
her. Deidre's boss told her to give up on Axis, but she won't do it because she's influenced by Cyril.
She wants
and her and Cyril will be sitting there doing stuff together, and it's going to be all about the Axis and finding Andor.
Well, the next, if I maybe this is just conjecture, right? But so the next 3, maybe at the end of it, but we will see the Gorman insurrection,
the massacre,
which right, and then that is when Deirdre will realize that Axis, has a part in that, and then that will fucking get her fucking hard to go back at, and then she'll be able to tell the dude with the hair, all right, dig this. This guy Axis is definitely part of this, and now it's interfering with the Gorman thing. So let me go after this.
Excited how that's going to turn out because we've seen in the trailer. There's still a few scenes that we haven't seen yet. So Andor and at Gorham with those Brett the Hitman Hart shades on, walking, with his trench coat. So he's and explosions go up behind him. So like Deidre was saying, like, well, we got to get the rebels to cause some shit badly, like do it wrong, like and mess up, then we can overtake them, kind of thing. Yeah. So Andor, does she somehow get Andor? Like not Andor willingly, but I don't know, because we see Andor blowing shit up. Why would Andor go blow up shit on the Silk Spider planet?
Well, and maybe that's how they start really getting on Luthen's trail, right? Like the Luthen and Cassian, they think that they have this plan, but the Deirdre and them do kind of come across the idea of that they're going to do it, and then they allow them to do it because it does work in their favor also.
Yeah, we saw that drama with the wedding and all those characters, all those characters and all that drama has to continue on somewhere. So are they all gonna? Oh, that's the wedding honeymoon. Let's all go to Gorham.
Mm-hmm. Oh, maybe.
Why would they wait a year to go to the honeymoon?
I don't know. I'm just trying to say, like, are they
in the past?
Are they going to tell like 3 or 4 different storylines now instead of just the two they've been?
They'll just continue forward. That'll be in the past. They don't need to show us the honeymoon
because the stuff that we're going to hopefully we will see with Saw Gerrera and Two Tubes and the big white Sasquatch looking guys,
X-wings and all
and X-wings that we saw, the black X-wings, like that's gonna have to be one of the stories.
I think that's the third. I think that's going to be more of the third one, where we see the falling out between.
Yeah. Wow, man, that's
the falling out or the joining together, something.
And are we gonna see, like, right now? Does Saw have 2 legs?
Yeah, I think he will.
I think he does because we've seen a leaked
running and skipping along, like
playing basketball.
With a sweet fade going on, or fat top.
Maybe we'll see.
Will we see him find a baby boar gullet?
Because in the cartoon, he had a clean cut black afro, right? Like a short kind of black afro when he was younger.
Yeah.
And now he's a little older that we saw him in Rogue One, and it's, gray, and it's like, no
He
barber.
goes all the way back to like the third season,
like
of
a
Clone
teenager,
Wars.
right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, because he was on the Anakin and Obi-Wan helped sort of like him liberate his planet and taught him guerrilla tactics with his sister, and then his sister died in that arc, and it sort of solidified him as a being a basically against the against separatists, but then he became.
How did they get that girl working at the TIE Fighter factory to kind of go rogue, kind of thing, and so to speak? Like, who did that? Like, was Andor the contact? Like, did they pay her money or family money or something?
No, I think it was just someone in the Empire who basically found, that she found somebody who was sympathetic, and she told them that she wasn't, because clearly she didn't agree. Even though she liked her job, she said she had fun there. She didn't agree with what the Empire was doing, and that's why she's getting out of it, which is what Andor was alluding to. You know what I mean? Like, you're brave for doing what you're doing because you're standing up for what you believe in. And that
it was good. I did like that dialogue. It wasn't very long. It was just like she asked a question and she's like, "Oh, I shouldn't ask. I'm sorry." And he's like, "No, you would ask anything. Hey, I speak like this. You can ask anything." And I thought, well, that's cool, man. Like, it's hardcore. Right then when he started saying that, I'm like, yeah, she's gonna die. She's like, he was like just trying to make her feel better about it, but yeah, it was. It was deep. It seemed like every conversation we saw in this episode was deep. Like, it was Brasso and
except the rock paper scissors scene.
Except then that. So Brasso and the two other rebels are like, oh, the Empire's coming. We gotta hide, and we're illegal aliens. There's a lot of this tied into like America currently, which it's just, but it's always happening, right? Politics and military and things happen, right? But you can kind of compare them. But yeah, everyone was having conflict in every sense, and especially those guys that were having the most conflict because they're friends fighting each other to the point where they're like, let's rock, paper, scissors, claw it.
Yeah.
So that is my Andor season 1 lawn chair of this season so far is rock, scissors, paper, claw.
Hammerhead, Wampa, Tauntaun.
Hammerhead, Wampa.
At the beginning when he said, "You're surrounded by 15 blasters." Like, you don't have to tell him that.
Don't tell him a number.
Who are these fucking amateurs? Like,
and that's Star Wars has that 10% humor,
little bit,
not horseshoed in, fits because there hasn't been any big conflict yet. It's just opening scenes and stuff like that. We've gone 2 hours almost exactly. I appreciate you guys for being patient with me as we, might have started 2.5 minutes late.
It's always a pleasure to see you, gentlemen.
And thanks to Super John and Collecting with Cool and Big Boss Lack for joining us, for joining me as we talk after Andor. And we'll do this again 3 more times.
Yeah.
Unless there's some other new Star Wars shows that come up in between. Yep. So thanks everyone who joined us in the chat. And we'll catch you next time.
Bye-bye.
Media assets.
I love you, Solo!